Where your name came from?
Grandpa.
Of course you know. Grandpa. So tell us who you're named after.
Grandpa.
Which grandpa?
Great.
Okay, we're gonna try this again. You be a little more talkative here.
I am. I'm talking, answering your questions.
Hey! If I hear one more word, get out! If I'm gonna let you vlog, and if I'm gonna spend all my time helping you, you're gonna help me too. Be excited to tell them where your name came from, even if you have to fake it. Fake being happy. Okay?
I don't know if I can right now. I don't know why. It's just...
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take a...
For years, Ruby Franke and her family were seen as the picture-perfect YouTube family, known as 8 Passengers. They shared their lives with millions of viewers, giving parenting advice, showing their day-to-day routines, and raising 6 children in what many thought was a wholesome home. But behind the scenes, a dark truth was brewing. And in today's video, we are going to break down Ruby Franke, who went from YouTube mom to convicted child abuser, the shocking role of Jody Hildebrandt, and how she played in this downfall, and what Hulu's new documentary reveals in the broader conversation about protecting children online. Buckle up, because this is a story that runs deep. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany Janae, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Ruby Franke and the 8 Passengers. So buckle up, because this is going to be a little crazy. So 8 Passengers was a family YouTube channel that was started in 2015 by Ruby Franke, her husband Kevin, and their 6 kids. The channel's name came from their 8 members of their family, and it quickly gained popularity for its raw, unfiltered look at parenting. Ruby often shared parenting advice, homeschool routines, and disciplinary methods, attracting a mix of admiration and concern. At their peak, 8 Passengers had over 2.5 million subscribers. But as the channel grew, so did the scrutiny. And girl, she put, if y'all watch this documentary, she literally put all of the craziness was caught on camera. Like, it was too good to be true. Like, for her to be caught in the act of doing some of these things.
One more time, and then you're gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October, and they gave my room back like 2 weeks ago. Oh, I'll give you the reason why I lost my bedroom. I think so. I think this is the reason. At least this is the reason that's been in my head. It's pretty funny, but now that I look back, I mean, it's pretty depressing.
No, we never told our viewers.
That I woke Russell up at 2 in the morning and told him that we're going to Disneyland and he has to pack. And he got up and made his bed all neatly and then packed all his clothes in a suitcase. And then he walked out the door and I'm like, Russell, and he was like, what? And he's all happy. Has his sunglasses on.
Do you think it's funny? Because
and then I walk out.
If you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
No, it was not funny.
Russell got the big bedroom and Chad got the smaller bedroom. And Russell's bigger bedroom also had a bathroom. But what you guys didn't know was Chad didn't get any room. He didn't get anything. He was sleeping on the floor in the family room. Abby, we took the phone away from Abby in November. And you may never get the phone back.
Probably not.
No, I have no friends.
You can play with friends.
No, like I don't have friends.
I don't have friends either.
I literally like told my friends I'm not hanging out with them anymore
Because they're
they say some pretty messed up stuff.
I don't even know where they live. They're pretty far away.
So, summer goal, become the best athlete I possibly can.
If you cut one more thing in my house,
We're chopping its head off.
I'm going to take the scissors, look at me, and I'm gonna cut its head off.
Grandma will be so mad.
So what are you gonna do?
Are you gonna cut anything else? No.
You promise? Look at Mama. I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch. And it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch. You're gonna pass on the sucker?
I've had enough brownie for a lifetime. I really don't think one.
Once you hit 99 pounds, you don't need any suckers anymore. You're too old, you're too big.
I just had a lot of brownie.
He's the bed maybe like once every 8 months. Like, it's been a very long time since she wet the bed. I was like, oh darn it, that's all right. Just go sleep on the floor in the bathroom.
A masterful manipulator. I have manipulated using sex. I've manipulated using external rewards. I have wanted something and I'm going to get it no matter.
Sorry to tell you this, honey, but unless you find a friend who's willing to share some of their food with you, I don't think you're going to be able to eat. But if you're not responsible for your lunch and your lunch money, that's the natural consequence. And I'm really sorry you're learning this the hard way. I will have a wonderful, yummy snack. Just hang in there today and just make up your mind. You're going to be really careful and make sure you grab your stuff when you go to school next time. And maybe you have a good friend who will share some of their sandwich with you or something. Russell, I'm really sorry. He sounded like he was going to cry.
I have a hot tub in my backyard, and because it's in my home and it's on my property and I paid for it, it's under my jurisdiction. I have stewardship over that hot tub. And so I get to decide the types of bathing suits people wear when they're in that hot tub. I don't get to go to the city pool and decide that. I don't get to walk around and say, that's not appropriate. I don't want that swimming suit. I don't get to do that because it's public property. It's a public pool. I do get to decide what comes into my home. And I have decided there's no bikinis. And so if someone comes over with a bikini, they are invited to put on something else or to leave. A year ago, my daughter was saying her prayers. Eve, she was 6 years old at the time. And she was saying her prayers and she said the cutest thing. I thought it was so cute. And I started laughing. She said, "Dear Heavenly Father, please help me to survive." And I thought it was so cute and it just took me off guard and I kind of giggled a little. That was an experience for her and she melted. She melted. She was angry and she.
So as the family gained more followers, viewers began noticing disturbing patterns in Ruby's parenting methods. Ruby publicly discussed extreme punishments such as withholding food, taking away beds, and isolating children. One infamous incident included Ruby admitting she left her son without lunch because he forgot to pack his own lunch. Other red flags included taking away bedroom privileges, refusing to pick up a child from school as punishment, and harsh emotional tactics. Parenting experts, social workers, and everyday viewers called out these behaviors, labeling them as abusive, but Ruby doubled down, claiming she was teaching accountability. Accountability or abuse, girl? Teetering the lines there. And so in 2021, Ruby, this is when things got dark, a lot darker. Ruby partnered with Jody Hildebrandt, who is a mental health counselor known for her company Connections, which offer life coaching and parenting advice. Jody herself had a controversial reputation known for extreme, rigid views on parenting and relationships, often emphasizing control and obedience over compassion. However, Ruby became one of Jody's most public advocates, collaborating on videos where they pushed these harmful parenting ideologies. The content became even more troubling as they justified emotionally and physically harmful tactics as ways to fix children. So as Ruby's relationship with Jody deepened, she isolated herself further from her husband, Kevin, and some of her older children, particularly her daughter, Sherry, who later became one of the family's first people to speak out about this trauma that they endured at the hands of Jody and Ruby, more specifically with Ruby. And so in 2024, Hulu released a documentary, I think it was 2024, but recently they released a documentary titled Ruby Franke and the 8-Passenger Scandal. Deep dive into how Ruby and Jodi's relationship led to systematic abuse in the home. The documentary features interviews with family members, parenting experts, and former fans. It highlights number 4 scene footages, including clips from connection workshops that show the alarming ways Ruby and Jodi justified their behavior. But perhaps the most chilling is how easily these women use YouTube as a platform to normalize abuse right in front of millions of viewers. Now, the documentary raised critical questions about YouTube's role and responsibility in allowing this type of content to flourish unchecked. So, in August of 2023, Ruby Franke was arrested after one of her children escaped from Jodi Hildebrandt's home, emaciated with duct tape wounds, begging neighbors for help. The child was hospitalized for severe malnutrition and abuse. So both Ruby and Jodi were charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse, and during the trial, evidence showed that the children were denied food, tied up, and subjected to extreme punishment for minor infractions. Excuse me, not trial, but throughout the duration of the criminal proceeding. I don't know if it came out in the trial or what, but in early of 2024, Ruby did plead guilty for 4 counts of aggravated child abuse in a plea deal, and she was sentenced up to 30 years in prison. It is my understanding that Ruby took this deal, and I don't really understand. I think she was sentenced 4 to 30 years, up to 30 years. I don't know how that works in the state that she's in, but my understanding, she's going to take the stand and testify against Jodi. And Jodi hasn't had her trial yet, but it's coming. It's coming. So the Ruby Franke case has sparked conversations about child protection laws and family vlogging. Many wonder, how did this go unnoticed for so long, and why did platforms like YouTube allow this? Now, she was getting checked before like all of this popped off. Like when I was watching the documentary on Hulu, she was getting checked already. But right now, I just want to say, as it pertains to the laws and things like that, there are limited regulations around family vlogging. Children and family content are often not protected by labor laws, but I'm assuming this is going to be evolving or changing over time because of this case, right? And so there's not really any strict limits of what can be shared about children, from tantrums to private moments, because she had no boundaries. Ruby had no boundaries. And so there have been calls for laws like the proposed Kidfluencer Protection Act that will require parents to set aside earnings for their children and limit harmful exposure. There are also arguments that YouTube and other platforms should no longer, or should have stronger content monitoring, especially when children are involved. And so this is not just about Ruby Franke, right, and her demonic, devilish ways. It is an issue that runs throughout family vlogging, right? Children cannot consent to having their lives broadcast to millions of people and having a digital footprint, right? That from having their embarrassing tantrums to displaying moments, these videos often exploit children for clicks and money, y'all. And the long-term psychological impact on these children is still unknown, but cases like Ruby shows the real danger when there are no boundaries. And so Ruby's story is heartbreaking, or the story of the children of Ruby Franke is heartbreaking, because it is a reminder of what can happen when your children are not protected, even in plain sight. And so it's a wake-up call for parents, platforms, and lawmakers to prioritize children's safety over profit. So what do y'all think should be done to protect children in family vlogs? Should YouTube ban family channels? I don't necessarily think that's the case, but I do think they need to put in stricter guidelines. So if you found that this deep dive was informative, please conversate below or converse below in the comments section. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. This is a very, very interesting topic that I wanted to talk about, because I had never heard of 8 passengers before, but I feel like I've seen clips like with other YouTubers like Naja and Daniel may have talked about it or whatever, but this was something that wasn't on my radar, because I don't watch family vlogs, because I don't agree of putting your children on camera to that magnitude. Hell, I don't believe in putting children on the internet until they're teenagers. I really don't. If we're gonna call it thing of things, there's weirdos out there, but a lot of times these parents are weirdos themselves, because I know a lot of people, and this is kind of going off topic a little bit, or off the subject of Ruby Franke, but there's a mom vlogger or a TikTok with a little girl, can't remember her name, don't know the details, I probably should have looked it up, but I didn't think about it until I was recording this video. But a lot of people are saying like the comments that this mom gets is very inappropriate, and she knows it, and she's intentionally doing. If I can find it, some of the clips or some people talking about it, I'll put it at the end of this video. I'm pretty sure if I get on the TikTok and Google TikTok on there and look for this woman, I can find it. But there are people out here who intentionally, and it's been done since the beginning of time, right? Before even this whole YouTube thing. Like, now it's easier, it's more accessible to do it because we have social media. But people have been doing this before that. Like, child stars. Like, look at the child stars. Look at how screwed up some of them out. Look at Lindsay Lohan. Like, people exploited their children for profit. You know, look at how Lindsay Lohan was. Look at Amanda Bynes. Oh, my heart breaks for Amanda, right? Just putting these kids to work and getting money, and then they're getting abused on the back end, and we don't see it. You know, but Ruby was so bold that she was doing her abuse on camera because she didn't think that was wrong with it, I guess. Or she thought she could manipulate people into believing what she was doing was okay. But these things go unchecked often, and sometimes they go unnoticed. But I feel like the internet does their big one now, because when we see BS, if we're watching things and we see BS, we call it out straight out. Straight, no chaser is getting called out on the internet. So, but even from like the early days of mommy blogs, when women was like, had their little blog pages and was talking about being a mom, it's all exploitative, like, you know. And so it's just like, just keep your children off the internet until they can make a conscious decision while they're teenagers in high school if they want to get on social media. And even with that, put in place, you know, some sort of I don't want to say guidelines, but put in place some sort of I can't even think of a word, but put something in place to protect your children, even if, you know, they're not, you don't have a family vlog channel, but they want to get on social media at a certain age. Because I think to get on Instagram, you're supposed to be 13 and older, but I'm pretty sure there's some tweens that are on Instagram. But the rabbit hole goes deep, y'all, and this woman was crazy. As I was watching a documentary and seeing it unfold, she reached out to Jody because her son was having issues, and he got expelled from school. And she even put that out there. It's like, girl, do you have no boundaries, no privacy? You don't want to protect your children? Why do you feel comfortable oversharing on the internet? I think sometimes the internet can be a drug. Because the more you get on there, the more you want likes, you want comments, it makes you feel good, the more you tend to overshare, because, you know, people like authenticity, right? People like to be all in your business. People like to be nosy, because when she was talking about her son got expelled from school, I was like, girl, and so that's how she got into Jody Hildebrand. A friend or a neighbor or someone of the sort was like, I know this life coach or this therapist, she's awesome. And yeah, and so that's where the downward spiral really started to happen, is when that woman came in. Two narcissists getting together basically to calculate a plan to abuse and make more money. And girl, it's just a mess. Jody is a mess. Ruby, you're a mess. Kevin, you weren't there for your children. I feel like you failed your kids, because you as an adult should have stopped a lot of this. You as an adult should have stopped. Like, if your children was visibly uncomfortable being on camera and you were around and you see, if you were uncomfortable, you should have stopped it. So the daddy failed. Not only did Ruby, but the daddy failed him. So, you know, you have some blame in this as well, sir. But, you know, it's unfortunate, and these things happen. People are greedy and they want money and they want it now. And, you know, unfortunately, people love children. Children are cute, and they want to exploit their kids for money. You know, and it's unfortunate. So I don't want to ramble or rant way too much on this topic, because I can clearly talk about this a little bit deeper. But I'm gonna leave it here, because I just want to know what you guys' thoughts are, and maybe I'll do a live, and we can, after I post this, and we can talk a little bit more. People can get it off their chest, like whatever they want to say as it pertains to Ruby Franke, putting children on the internet. I personally don't agree with it. I feel like children should be protected. They are little people. They, you know, girl. All right, I think I'm done. I'm done. All right, and I will see you guys in the next video. Please subscribe, like the video, comment, let me know what your thoughts are below. tell me if in your state, do they have any laws in place to protect children that are online? Or do you think there should be, or what are your thoughts? Or do you think Ruby didn't do anything at all? You think Ruby was just being an all-American mom, and, you know, because even the neighbors thought she was weird. Like when I was watching the documentary, because I saw that like just showing like the neighborhood, like why are you showing so much? Like you know, people can look you up on the internet, like you put a little piece of your house out there and people can find it. People can find you, and you got kids. It ain't safe, sis. It ain't safe. But she clearly didn't care. Y'all, it was so bad. Like she's literally like, you'll see some of the clips I put out there, but it was just so cringy to see her say pretend like you're happy to her son or something like that. Excuse me? What do you mean? Bye, y'all.